Hey everybody, Claudia from the Wee Garden Homestead here. I'm going to be sewing today, and what I'm going to be sewing is not a quilt. So Salty has a bunch of shirts that he bought, probably about a year ago, I don't know, that he absolutely loves, and he's lost a whole bunch of weight, so they're way too big. And I am going to take one of them today. I'm going to start with this one, this pretty flamingo one. And I am going to take it apart and I'm going to resize it for him. So I haven't done this before. I have taken men's shirts and cut the sleeves off and made them into sleeveless shirts for myself, but I've never resized one. This one is a 4XL, and it probably needs to be about a large, I think. So he gave me a t-shirt that fits him pretty well, that I'm going to use to for the size. Well, this says it's a 2XL, so I don't know. I'm going to admit, you know what? I'm going to hold these up together and see what the difference is. Okay, yeah, I laid them out, and this is substantially smaller, especially like in the side part. I didn't measure out the shoulders yet, but in the sides, it's definitely substantially smaller. So this is what I'm going to use for the sizing, and I'm going to lay it out on the table and see what I can do with it. I'm going to take the sleeves off. I'm going to recut the armholes and the sides, and then I'm going to adjust the size of the sleeves to fit. And then I'm going to put it all back together. Really, I should use the serger on this. It's like a nylon-y fabric, and I'm worried it's going to fray. But I think that if I work quickly, that it won't be too bad. And I'm not going to serge the edges. I'm going to just find a stitch on my sewing machine that'll do an edge stitch and seal them up so they won't fray. So that's my plan. I'm going to get you turned around and show you what I'm working on the table. Okay, so you can kind of see what I'm dealing with here. The shoulders, only going to bring those in about an inch. If I'm using this one to measure, we're talking maybe an inch at the shoulder seam. It's the sides that are really going to need a lot. So I'm going to take the sleeves off because I'm going to reuse them. And then we're going to go from there. I'm going to wing it. This is definitely not a tutorial because I have no idea what I'm doing. Yeah, not a tutorial. I think I might get a paper bag actually and make a pattern of this right here so that when I do get to this part and I go to cut this, I know where I'm cutting. I think I'll actually use this side because this side lays flatter. This side's a little twisted. But I think that's what I'm going to do. I have a couple of, because I don't get paper bags at the grocery store, but I do have a couple of Wawa bags because every time I order Wawa, they give me a paper bag, so I save them. So I'm going to dig out a Wawa bag and I'm going to make a pattern just because I know where I'm going to cut it here. I'm just going to make a pattern of this right here, and then I'll just be able to go down the rest of the way. That's what I'm going to do. So let me see. I just happen to have a Wawa bag right here that I can't get to. Okay, so I think that'll work. I'm going to take this apart. Let me go get a different pair of scissors. Okay, so I have this. I don't know if he'll want me to make it a little shorter too, but I have this bag opened up, and it doesn't go all the way to the middle, but I think that you know, for now that'll be okay. If it was a bigger bag, that would have worked better. And then I have my marker here. I'm going to try to mark. And yes, it's a kid's Crayola washable marker. And the reason for that is I had a pen in my hand and I was like, well, if I poke through the paper, then I might get pen. I was worried about getting pen on the shirt. If I had a shirt that fit him that I could just cut apart, that would be easier. But I don't, because he really wears this this Popeye shirt a lot. So it was a Goodwill shirt, but he likes it, so we'll keep it. Oop. And I'm just feeling where that seam is. Just feeling where that seam is and tracing over it. Okay. And then that's going to go pretty much straight down from there. So I am going to leave a little extra for seam allowance. So we're going to go like that. That's where I'm going to cut it. And then I'll flip it and do the other side too. First thing, I want to take the sleeves off though. So get this out of the way because I don't think I need it anymore. Said I was going to take about 1 inch off, so it's going to be probably about there. This is a washable, so it won't show. And then I'm going to measure. Oh, I know I had a small measure here just a minute ago. So, measure. Yeah, that was about 3/4 of an inch. So, about 3/4 of an inch on this side too. That's where I'm going to wind up cutting it when the time comes. So I have my kitchen scissors, not my fabric scissors. And I'm going to cut this. That's not going to, I don't need any seam allowance there because that's just the shoulder seam. And that's the top of the shoulder, and that's already there. So I don't need to cut that any bigger. Trim this off a little bit. I'm going to cut right about there so I have a seam allowance. This is garbage. Just going to put that out of the way for now. And I know I had sewing scissors here just a minute ago. Fabric scissors. I think I'm done with these for now. I'm not worried about losing a little bit on the shoulder, I'm not worried about losing a little bit on the sleeve because they go to his elbow anyway. So once I bring them in, I don't know that they're going to need to be as big anyway. So basically all I'm losing here is the seam allowance. And I guess, I guess if this works out, you could call it a tutorial. If it doesn't, then we could call it a what not to do. Claudia's what not to do with your husband's good shirts. He has so many of these. I don't know how many he bought. He must have bought, I don't know, 10 of them, different crazy wild ones. Put those out of the way. Come back to this. Make sure it's laying flat. Match this up here with my little markers right there. Sure it lays straight. And it doesn't go to the middle, but I can line it up with the middle. It's probably an inch from the middle, which is fine. Just going to use these for pattern weights. I just had a rotary cutter here a minute ago. There it is. Okay. I'm going to hang on to this and see if I have enough to make him a bucket hat. And I'm just going to flip this over and do the other side. This up with my mark. Go straight. Pattern weight. Scissors that I don't know where I put them. Oh, I can't do this from here. I don't usually cut left-handed, but we're going to see how that works. That blade definitely does not like this thin fabric. Okay. Get all this out of the way and go back to the sleeve. Now, the sleeve's going to fit back in there, or they're going to be too long. They're going to be too big. Well, they'll be real close. I'm going to open them up. I'm going to cut the seam out well. See if I have enough room to cut that seam out. I do. I'm going to cut the seam out and then I will even it out once I get the sleeves back on. Cut the seam out from both sides. And then once I get the seam back on, the sleeve on, then I'm just going to stitch all the way straight up and out the sleeve. I think that's how it's done. I don't know if any of you are clothing makers. Let me know, because I do alterations and I do upcycles, but I don't do clothes very often. So I'm going to go grab some pins and I'll be right back. So we're going to start with this one. We'll find the middle. The middle. And that is going to go right on that peak, the shoulder there. Right at the top of the shoulder. I'm going to pin that on all the way around. And then I'm going to go sew it. And then I'll be back. Okay, I have one one pinned on. I started from the middle, like I said I was going to, and I went down the one side and it lined up perfectly here. And then I went down the other side and I had about that much of a difference. So I readjusted, and this one has about a ½ inch difference, and this one has probably about an inch, which I don't know how that happened, because I only had an inch difference to start with. I'm going to go with that because I'm getting a little frustrated right now, but I'm going to go with that. If it was one for me, I would just kind of ease it in. But I'm going to go with that, and then I'll trim it as I need to make it line up. So I'm going to go sew this one in, and then I'm going to do the other one, and I'll be back. Okay. Feeling pretty good. This sleeve is on. Looks pretty good. Just had Salty try it on, and we, held the side seams together, and I told him where the sleeves were going to hit and where the shoulder seam was going to hit. It looks like it's going to be perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and do the other one and figure out a stitch I can use to finish the edges, because I'm really worried they're going to fray. And I'll be back. Okay, so both of these sleeves are on, and I auditioned a couple of different stitches, and I finally just went with a straight zigzag. I don't know if you can see that. So I have my stitching, and then I have a zigzag to keep it from fraying. Before I do any more, I will pull out the serger. I was going to do it with this one. I was like, oh, I'll just pull out the serger, but it had black thread in it, and I was like, man, I don't have it in me to rethread it today. So now I'm just going to turn this inside out. I am going to pin the sides. I'm going to trim these sleeves just a little bit because they went over just a little bit. I'm going to trim those, and then I'm going to pin the sides from here to here, and from from the bottom to the shoulder, to the armpit seam. I think I might pull a little bit of this hem out and sew it and then rehem it. I don't think I'm going to do that on the sleeves. See how they work out. I might do that on the sleeves too. They weren't like that on the sleeves, but I want them to look good. So I am going to pull just a little bit of I'm going to trim these off. I'm going to pull the hem out, just maybe back an inch on either side on the sleeves and on the bottom of the shirt. Then I'm going to pin them together, and I'm going to sew that. So that's next on my list. Or you don't know what to do with your hands. Okay, so I am finished with this with this shirt, and I would like some opinions from those of you out there that sew. So it fits pretty well. I think it's a little snug in the sides, and next time I'm going to not bring the sides in quite so much. And then I think I might bring the shoulders up a little bit. I don't know. What do you think? Because right now they're hitting down here.
Yeah, I mean it's a little snug in the shoulder.
It is snug in the shoulder, so leave the shoulders where they're at.
I think so.
I,
Well,
oh, it's pulling
I
here.
think that might just be through.
I think it's through the sides here, and I think it's pulling a little bit here. So those of you who sew clothes, because I really don't. I do some upcycles, but I really don't do this type of work. What do you think? I am more than open to some opinions. So I want it. What?
I'm a model.
You're a model. I know. Who knew at this point in your life you were going to have a new career in modeling? So the pocket is a little off. There's nothing I can do about that unless I take the pocket off and move it. But where I took the seams out, the hems out, I had to redo one of the hems, and you could see the stitching marks. The stitching marks did not go away. So I really don't want to move the pocket, but I think I'm going to not take it in so much here and maybe bring the shoulder up a little bit. So it'll be more like this. And then I think that we won't have this pull here. Y'all, please tell me what you think. If you sew, if you make clothes, if you're familiar with this kind of stuff.
It feels all right.
It feels all right. Okay, he says it feels all right. I just don't like this pucker here. So that's my
less shoulder, more armpit.
Less shoulder, more armpit. Yes, that is exactly right. So let me know what you think. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to what?
Like, subscribe, hit the dinger button, comment, all that kind of good stuff.
Thanks. Yeah. Thanks for your modeling.
I'm a model.